All right, now let's look at the running backs. This is an area where the Jaguars have the dominant player, and that's Travis Etienne. Right now, he's ranked third in the NFL in rushing, only behind Taylor and Cook, and not by far. Welcome to Just the Stats NFL, the show that covers the NFL statistical leaders from the all-time greats to the current players leading the NFL. I'm Ernie Jennings, your host. And in this podcast, we will be looking at the Monday night game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So let's get right into it. Top 10 players to watch for in this game. The Jacksonville Jaguars are 3-1. Now, who would have thought that they'd have a better record than Kansas City coming into this game, but they do. Now, for the Jaguars, going to be watching Devin Lloyd. Last week, 2 interceptions. He now has 7, which puts him in the tie for 12th. One more actually put him in the tie for 8th. If he can get one more interception, that'll give him 8. Put him into a tie for 8th all time with several players, actually. So that's somebody to watch. Also on defense for the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is where they have been the most impressive. Josh Hines-Allen is number 2 all time in sacks for the Jacksonville Jaguars with 53.5. He needs 1.5 sacks to tie Tony Brackens, who played from 1996 to 2003. He's got 55. So 1.5 sacks he ties. 2, he moves into number 1 all time by himself. All right, let's look at some top 10s to watch for the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs are 2-2 right now. They started out 0-2, and now they have won the last 2. Looking at top 10s to watch for, Patrick Mahomes. This is the negative one, but right now he's 4th all time in sacks, being sacked by the defense with 191 times he's been sacked. Number 3 is Alex Smith, who he replaced, who has 192 sacks. So 1 sack he ties, 2 sacks he moves into 3rd all-time by himself. Now, if he was to get sacked 4 times in this game, he would tie Bill Kenny for 2nd all-time. Bill Kenny played from 1980 to 88. He's got 195 sacks. So somewhere between 1 to 4, and he moves up this list either to number 2 or 3. And he's a long way from number 1. All right, another one to look at for the Kansas City Chiefs, and that is Kareem Hunt. Right now, Kareem Hunt is 9th all-time in rushing touchdowns with 23. One more, he ties Mike Garrett for 8th with 24. Mike Garrett played from 1966 to 1970 for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's got 24 rushing touchdowns. Kareem Hunt, 23. All right, now on the defense for Kansas City, Nick Bolton's trying to make it into the top 10 all-time in tackles for loss for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's got 34. He needs 1 to tie John Browning for 10th all-time with 35. So he just needs 1 to get to 35. John Browning played from 1996 to 2005. If he happened to get 2 tackles for loss, he'd move into a tie with D. Ford with 36. So that's a defensive player to look out for. Now, one more, which you don't see too often so far this season, is in the scoring category, and especially not by somebody other than a kicker. But you got Travis Kelce right now, 6th all-time in scoring for the Kansas City Chiefs with 496 points. He just needs 1 touchdown, and he'll pass Priest Holmes, who's in 5th with 500 points. So 1 touchdown would put him up at 502. He would pass Priest Holmes. So to keep an eye out for that. All right. Injuries. Only key injury as far as offensive players go is Jacksonville's wide receiver, Kwame Brown's shoulder is limited. He was out last week, but he might be playing this week. It's limited. So right now, the Kansas City Chiefs lead this series 10 games to 6. All right, let's look at some of the players and see how they compare to each other. Well, we'll start with the quarterbacks. Right now, this has been somewhat of a weakness, and it's not completely Trevor Lawrence's fault, but right now he's the 30th ranked quarterback. He's throwing for 845 yards, so he's averaging 211 yards a game. Problem, he's had 5 touchdowns, but he's had 4 interceptions. One or two of those, one for sure, was not his fault. And honestly, there was a period where in the first 3 games where the Jacksonville Jaguars were leading the NFL in drops with 13, I think it was, in 3 games. They had an issue. Now, last week, I didn't see any real drops, so maybe they've overcome that, and it'll help out Trevor Lawrence's numbers. But right now, he's 30th, while Patrick Mahomes is the 17th ranked quarterback. He's got a quarterback rating of 94.2. I should say that, unfortunately for Trevor Lawrence, his quarterback rating is 75.1. So a big lead for Kansas City Chiefs as far as Patrick Mahomes. He's averaging 234.8 yards a game, basically 235 yards a game. He's passed for 939 yards. Been much more efficient with the ball, 7 touchdowns, only 1 interception so far this season. All right, now let's look at the running backs. This is an area where the Jaguars have the dominant player, and that's Travis Etienne. Right now, he's ranked 3rd in the NFL in rushing, only behind Taylor and Cook, and not by far. He's got 394 yards. Cook has 401, so he's only 7 yards behind him. And then Jonathan Taylor has 414, so he's only 20 behind Jonathan Taylor. He's averaging right now, Travis Etienne's averaging 6.1 yards a carry. He's got a couple of touchdowns, so he's looked really good this year in the running game. And that was one of the things Liam Cohen came in to fix, and he's really done a good job. Now, after him, there's a big drop to the next one, and that's Bashan Tutin. Right now, he's a 62nd ranked running back. He's got 88 yards right now, 4.2 average. So he's really, as a rookie, he's really had to just come in and fill in a little bit for Travis Etienne. He hasn't been nearly as effective as Travis Etienne has. Now looking at for the Kansas City Chiefs, this is where they do drop off quite a bit. And they've got 3 people all within a few spots of each other. Unfortunately for them, you really would think so, is their quarterback is the leading running back right now for them. The leading rusher, we'll put it that way. He's got 130 yards rushing right now, and that leads the team. Pacheco has 127 yards in this so far, and then Kareem Hunt has 115. So between the 3 of them, they do not have as many yards as Travis Etienne. That's a weakness right now for the team. Most obviously for Mahomes, it's a lot of scrambling yards. Now, looking at the receivers, again, this is an area where neither team is impressive, which is very disappointing because the Jaguars fully expected Brian Thomas to be one of the top 10, top 12 wide receivers in the NFL, and it just hasn't panned out, not even close, at least not yet. Then a lot of people expected more out of Travis Hunter, which has not come to fruition either. So for the Jaguars right now, the leading receiver for the team is the tight end, Brenton Strange. She's got 19 catches for 182 yards to lead the team in receptions. So not what everybody expected going into this season, but he has been very dependable, catches pretty much everything that comes within his range. He's been an amazing blocker as well. So he's been quite good for the Jaguars so far this season, but he is the leading receiver at this moment. Next up is Brian Thomas, who's the 63rd ranked wide receiver. Only 12 catches so far this season for 164 yards. He's been targeted 32 times. That's terrible. 12 receptions on 32 targets. It's just terrible. Like Brenton Strange, 19 receptions on 23 targets. I mean, you see the difference. It's Brian Thomas had a terrible time the first 3 games in hanging onto the ball. That changed. Not that he had big numbers last week, but every catch that he had was sure-handed. No fumbling, that type of thing. Dropping the ball. So maybe he's overcome that. Now he just needs to stay in bounds with 2 feet when he catches a pass, and he'll be on his way to moving back up this ranks up in the top of the NFL. After those 2 players, the next one up for the Jaguars is Travis Hunter, only 13 catches, so for 118 yards. And then De'Ami Brown, who actually missed a game, has 10 catches for 116 yards. He may not play in this game. Parker Washington's also in this list. He's 104th. He's got 9 catches for 110 yards. So honestly, right now, the receiving corps for the Jaguars has not been impressive. Quarterback hasn't actually been that impressive either. Now looking at Kansas City, they don't do much better. Hollywood Brown right now leads the team with 22 catches for 209 yards. He's the 37th ranked wide receiver. He is a wide receiver, but he's 37th ranked. Then you drop down to the Travis Kelce, whose same numbers actually as Brenton Strange. They both have, interestingly enough, 182 yards. Interesting that they both are coming into the game with the same amount of yardage. Along with him as Travis Kelce is also Tyquan Thornton. He's also got 182 yards. So you got 3 players in this game, all with the same yardage. Now, Thornton has his on 10 catches on 20 targets, so he's only catching half of his targets. Whether it's his fault or Mahomes as far as the location, I don't know. And then finally for them, way down the list, is Xavier Worthy, but he's 131st right now, but obviously he missed 2 games. He's only got 83 yards at this point on 5 catches, but you fully expect to see him move up the ranks as well. He'd be somebody a little more on par with Brian Thomas. So when we look at this game, who do we think is going to win? When you look at it, the Chiefs are favored by 3.5 points, even though the game is in Jacksonville. Obviously, Mahomes is tough to beat no matter what, and no matter what his ranking is, even if he is 17th ranked quarterback, he's just very difficult to defeat. Right now, the one offensive weapon the Jaguars do have is the running back. So that's one area of optimistic area for the Jaguars. Right now, they're 5th in rushing efficiency, while the Chiefs' defense is 28th. So I can see this being a game where maybe they try to run the ball a lot against Kansas City, because their Kansas City defense against the pass is much better. They're ranked 6th. Where the Jaguars have been dominating teams is in turnovers. They lead the NFL with 4 games, 16 turnovers, I believe it is. It's an amazing amount of turnovers. Make it 13. 13. They had 4 last week. So every game they've been racking up the turnovers. If they can do that again, knock the ball out, causing fumbles, intercepting the passes, they have a chance to win this game. And obviously, as a Jaguar fan, I'm picking the Jaguars to win this game over Kansas City Chiefs. It is in Jacksonville, Monday night game. I'm hoping the defense continues what they've been doing and the offense finally gets itself in gear. The passing game becomes more proficient now that the drops seem to have disappeared, at least for one game. So we'll see how that goes. Picking the Jacksonville Jaguars to defeat the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football. All right, that's a wrap for this episode of Just the Stats NFL. You can find this podcast on YouTube at Just the Stats NFL, on podcast sites such as on Apple, Spotify, or podcast app you might have on your phone. Also, you can contact me at Just the Stats NFL if you'd like. And that is a wrap for the pre-games for week number 5. I'm out.